Welcome and thank you for being here. This session is being recorded. My name is Dr. Meg Milligan from Troy University, and it is my distinct honor to be the moderator for this exceptional panel of professionals who are also students in higher education. Each will present their identified challenge to distance education and their recommendations to address it. Then we will open this forum for your input and discussion. I will be the timekeeper, and Assad Raza will monitor the chat and manage the PowerPoints. Okay. Before we begin, on behalf of ADEIL, we would like to thank our host, Troy University, and our technical coordinator, Ms. Marcy Shirley from Troy University. Yes, hello. We are thankful for their contributions to making this conference possible. Next, please. In recent years, distance education has become a pivotal component of the learning landscape, particularly in light of global events that have shifted traditional educational models, as we all know. As students who are directly impacted by these changes, our students' perspectives are invaluable in understanding both the challenges we face and the innovative solutions that can enhance our educational experiences. This panel discussion aims to provide a platform for them to share their insights and propose forward-thinking solutions to improve distance education. This panel discussion will serve as a valuable opportunity for them to voice their experiences and contribute to the evolution of distance education. By addressing current challenges and proposing innovative solutions, we all aim to create a more effective and equitable educational environment for all learners. Next. By the end of this discussion, this session, you should be able to describe some of the real-world challenges faced by students in distance education today, discuss innovative solutions and practical and creative ideas for addressing those challenges and improving distance education, and demonstrate techniques for collaboration between students, educators, and policymakers. And with that, I will turn it over to Alisson Cartegena, representing the Autonomous University of Santa Ana, UNASA, in El Salvador. Alisson?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alisson Cartegena, and I am currently studying nursing at UNASA, which is in El Salvador. Today, I am so excited to share insights on distance education in nursing, specifically addressing the challenges we face, proposing innovations, and encouraging the dialogue between students and professors. UNASA was founded in 1982 by a team of visionary leaders that wanted to transform the West area of El Salvador. In the year 2000, UNASA was improvement on nursing. So nursing started to contribute the health system in El Salvador and the impact of economic growth in the West area as well. UNASA has two faculties. The one faculty is the social science, which include graphic design, marketing, and digital communications. And the second faculty is the health faculty, which includes nutrition, physical therapy, clinical laboratory, dentistry, medicine, and I proudly belong to the nursing school. Before the pandemic, distance education was not part of nursing virtual education due to regulations implemented by the Ministry of Health in El Salvador. However, the pandemic pushes to develop a distance learning system, and educators and the staff here in the university, they were getting trained in order to learn how to manage different platforms and, to take education to a different level while staying safe and providing a education in quality. So today I would like to discuss some topics related to distance education and nursing. The challenges I will talk about is developing clinical skills remotely. As you know, all medical field, including nursing, you need to be in contact with a human being in order to develop your career or your talent. But I don't think it is impossible, right, to take nursing or medical field to a different level. But some challenges we are facing right now, and we faced before too, is pedagogical barriers. Like I said before, the Ministry of Education in El Salvador has implemented guidelines that focus on an education that goes hand in hand with human contact. Therefore, the transition from traditional to online learning requires new teaching methods. Another barrier is the technological barriers. Some educators and students may resist adopting new technologies required for effective distance learning due to a fixed mindset or the fear of technological change. Here, we also can see the lack of previous technology knowledge in students. Those that come from high school, they didn't receive or they're not used to virtual learning environment because of the lack of technological access. So I leave you here one question so you can think about this and how this affects. How does resistance to a change mindset hinder the adoption of new technologies in distance education? Some innovations that I propose today and this morning are enhanced online platforms. Here in UNASA and El Salvador, we are working with these platforms and they are very successful. The first one is HighFlex. This is an educational model where students have the flexibility to choose how they participate in a course, offers greater flexibility for students to choose their learning format on a session by session. Also, we use B-Learning. This platform follows a more structured hybrid approach. It's a combination of face-to-face classes and online classes. They can choose their schedules. They have access to the material 24/7 in case for those students who work or have other responsibilities. Other innovation is utilizing technology. This is a big innovation that requires a lot of technology, right? Because we have that virtual reality, which is known as VR, and augmented reality, which is AR. These platforms help us to have a augmented reality overlays the digital elements onto the real world through devices like smartphones or AR glasses. Here, students from any medical field, we have the contact to see the clinical practice more real. They will be able to work with medications and other stuff through a computer or a smartphone. It is very important to encourage dialogue between students and professors. I have some recommendations on the next slide, so you can also think about this. First is promote open communication. I encourage dialogue between students, educators, and leaders to share ideas and support nursing students in online education. Also, collaborative problem solving. Regular discussions can help identify effective strategies to overcome challenge in distance education. And it's also important to continuous improvement. By working together, we can enhance the quality and accessibility of a student's education. In conclusion, while distance education presents challenges for nursing students, we have the opportunity to innovate and collaborate to create a more effective and inclusive learning environment. I also attach a video of my university, which is called UNASA here in El Salvador. This is a visit that Dr. Meg and Elizabeth did this year. They were able to come to El Salvador and know the different areas we have here. So I would like to share with you so you can also know a little bit about my university. We have different simulation labs which nursing students, doctors, they can practice according to their needs. We also have a radio. There's a nutrition school. There's a simulation lab where we do our practices. Thank you so much for your time, and I pass it over to my colleague, Assad Raza.
Thank you, Alisson. I was trying to figure out the slides in the video. Every time I try to move the slide, the video was coming back on. Thank you. Thank you, Alisson, for the introduction, Dr. Milligan, and my fellow panelists. Can everybody hear me? Give a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. My name is Assad Raza. I'm a retired U.S. Army officer, consultant, and currently a fourth-year Ph.D. student at Troy University. I'm here to present on this topic based on my own experience as a doctoral student. Nearly 2 years ago, I completed a quantitative methods course as part of my program. At the time, I was planning to pursue a qualitative study, but recently I shifted towards a quantitative approach, partly due to limited access to the population I'm studying. Since I hadn't focused on quantitative methods for some time, I found myself needing to relearn many of the concepts and tools, specifically using SPSS, which is the statistical and analytical software that we use. Okay. So, one of the major challenges faced by adult learners, specifically those in distance learning programs like myself, and like most of us in this conference here, is the difficulty of applying quantitative methods in research without easy access to faculty support. In a traditional in-person setting, students can ask questions and get help in real time during office hours. However, for distance learners, this is not always an option, especially in the evenings or weekends when questions often arise during personal study sessions. Without the ability to reach out to faculty or peers in real time, these learners may find themselves stuck on key concepts in statistical analysis, which can significantly delay the progress in the research. Quantitative research requires a deep understanding of technical techniques such as regression analysis, ANOVA, t-test, and chi-square tests. These methods can be complex, intimidating for students, especially for those balancing work, family, and academic responsibilities as adult learners. Distant learners often have to rely heavily on textbooks and online materials, which might not always provide a clear or accessible explanations. While communications with professors and methodologists is invaluable, it isn't always available when students need immediate assistance, such as during late night study sessions after work or during the weekend. This situation can lead to frustration, delays in data analysis, and even a decrease in motivation or confidence in conducting rigorous research. However, artificial intelligence offers a powerful tool to help bridge this gap. AI-powered platforms like ChatGPT can assist students by providing immediate on-demand support for technical questions about quantitative methods. I got some examples here. For example, instant clarification. AI tools can explain statistical techniques like regression analysis, ANOVA, t-test, and chi-square tests in simple terms. Students can use these tools to clarify concepts in real time without waiting for office hours or email responses. Second, they provide step-by-step guidance. AI can offer step-by-step instructions on how to conduct statistical tests using software like SPSS, helping students troubleshoot issues as they arise. For example, if a student is unsure how to run a specific test in SPSS, an AI tool can walk them through the process. They also can reinforce learning. AI can act as a second reference point, complementing textbooks, class notes, and faculty guidance. By interacting with AI, students can reinforce their understanding of key concepts, verify their interpretations of results, and gain more confidence in their analysis. And lastly, it's accessible anytime. That is probably the greatest benefits of having AI and its availability 24/7. No matter when a student is working on their research, whether it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon or 3 a.m. in the morning, AI can be there to assist, offering flexibility that matches the unpredictable schedules of adult learners. This doesn't replace the valuable input of professors or methodologists, but rather serves as a supplemental tool to enhance students' learning experiences and provide them with the continuous support throughout their research journey. So in conclusion, incorporating AI into the learning process can transform the way distance learners approach quantitative research by offering instant access to technical assistance. AI can help students overcome the challenges of limited faculty availability and deepen their understanding of complex statistical methods. This integration can empower students to advance their research more confidently and efficiently, making the learning process smoother and more effective. Lastly, AI in the far, far future could replace these analytical tools like SPSS. However, right now in academic and professional research, results from tools like SPSS are widely accepted because they are tested, trusted, and follow strict statistical standards. AI, while improving rapidly, doesn't yet meet those same standards for research that requires verifiable accuracy and transparency in the methodology. That's it. Thank you for your time. And now I'll be followed by Shallon, if she's here.
Yes, I'm around.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah. So greetings to you all. Good morning, audience and panelists. I'm called Sharon Atukunda. I'm an instructional design and technology student, and I come from Uganda in a university called Makerere University. My context and the background of my research or interest is in developing a chatbot to enhance learner support in the use of e-learning platform, specifically in Makerere University, which we term as Mwele. Next, Assad. So learner support, with my experience as a distance learner and also as a staff at Makerere University, who provide support, specifically technical support to students at a distance, I would define learner support as a wide array of services, which include academic support, technical support, administrative, psychosocial, and so many others. Research and studies have shown that these support services are very critical for the success and retention of students in order to be successful in their academic journey. Next. But however, when we compare face-to-face learning mode, online students don't often, or they often lack timely access to these support services. So research and studies have shown that immediate assistance, such as providing students timely responses, continuous availability of support, and proactive guidance can boost the students' motivation and engagement in this blended or an online learning environment. And the absence of such support mechanisms may result to feelings or loss of autonomy, where a distance learner is supposed to take charge of learning, but once not got the availability support, they lose autonomy, which leads to feelings of isolation, demotivation, and frustration. Next. So in our context at Makerere University is that the university is actually a very big university in Africa. It's one of the biggest, some big university in Africa. It has a very huge population and it is divided into collegiate. It's a collegiate university. It is increasingly adopting blended learning, which has opened up opportunities for students to study. And these students vary in terms of age, in terms of professionalism, because we have also working adults. And however, this advantage also comes with a challenge, is that specifically our adult students always have different levels of ICT proficiency. And this is well noticed when students are seeking for support constantly on the use of the e-learning platform. So they are constantly seeking for guidance. And remember, these students are not face-to-face students. So they use the e-learning platform for learning. So they find this challenge of using the platform. You could go back. So this challenge is very paramount, that they find using the e-learning platform very difficult. Several initiatives, however, have been put in place. Like, for instance, there is a Directorate of ICT, which supports these learners. The university has also tried to create instructional videos to guide students on how they can use the learning platform, and also having e-learning support staff at every college. But the limitation here is that these learners cannot study or cannot get the available support at 24/7. And this brings a delay in service. Next. So the intervention here is that institutions should look at learner support service as also evolving as how distance education is evolving. And therefore, we are supposed to look at learner support services to shift towards personalized, interactive, and intelligent systems, such as the use of artificial intelligence chatbot. Next, Assad. So the intervention here is that as the researcher, we have undertaken to design a chatbot, which is a program that uses artificial intelligence to interact with a student as if one is interacting with a human being. Some of the affordances the chatbot can provide to learners or distance education students is that they always provide instant responses. They're available 24/7. They provide personalized assistance, and they can support so many students at the same time. So in the next slide, I was able to showcase some of, the prototype that has been developed and some of the responses. You can move next. Some of the responses that the chatbot is trying to learn in our specific context. Assad, next. Yeah, so those are some of the responses that the chatbot is trying to learn, and it is now able to afford students. It is still in a trial mode, but at least students, when they interact with it, they are able to get instant support. So I thank you so much, and I could invite the next presenter. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. I'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Jenene Calloway. I am a PhD candidate in the Global Leadership doctoral program at Troy University. Professionally, I also am responsible for the global development and learning strategy for a food company. So the topic of distance learning is something I'm very passionate about. And the challenge I like to present in today's conversation is the lack of resources for faculty and staff to support higher education distance learning success. Next slide. So students currently see distance learning offering flexibility and potentially saving money. What research has shown is that students aren't looking to go completely online or no longer attend classes in person, but they appreciate a hybrid model which offers them flexibility. As it relates to saving money, not every day having to drive to campus or pay the fees associated with primarily attending class in person is something that students also desire. Faculty and staff often lack the development and resources needed and are, in many cases, juggling multiple priorities. And while colleges and universities did adopt to a hybrid model, or an online model, I should say, during the COVID-19 pandemic, many have not moved on from the makeshift models that were put in place. By doing so, by full adoption of a hybrid or distance learning model, colleges and universities can attract working adults that have multiple priorities, non-traditional students, and then also those that are navigating neurodiversity. Next slide. So the recommendations, the first recommendation being around vision and prioritizing distance learning at the university and college level. Distance learning success cannot be department specific or region of a university or college specific. It has to come from the leadership teams at colleges and universities. This will help with the prioritization around resources, as well as tools for successful learning transfer. In addition to the vision coming from the top, professional development is something that currently is provided to faculty and staff. But what this recommendation, however, is proposing is that there's a module specific to how to plan a successful distance learning course, how it should be structured for learning transfer, how to assess students as they experience the class, the systems that enable it, so like a learning management system, and then lastly, the legality. It's very easy to go online and grab content, but ensuring that faculty and staff understand the legal ramifications of sharing that content or using it for educational purposes without proper protocol will be important to ensure the integrity of the information being used and also compliance by universities and colleges. In addition to that, resourcing support. As I mentioned earlier, in many cases, those that are providing distance learning are managing multiple priorities. And so having resources to help with course development, to help troubleshoot things for not just the individual teaching the course, but also students as they navigate the online course or the learning management system. And then resourcing around ongoing development. So this is recognizing that it's not just success at a moment, but that the program has to continue to be modified and updated to reflect latest enhancements around distance learning, the latest lessons learned around distance learning. But this ongoing development has to be prioritized so that the distance learning platform on college campuses or universities remains relevant to what students want. And then another recommendation is around evaluation of the resources provided to both students and faculty and staff. And so quite often students are questioned as to how they're experiencing distance learning, but truly understanding how faculty and staff feel supported through the expectation of leveraging distance learning for learning transfer. And then leveraging data for relevancy of initiatives. So quite often that data is collected for sure from students, but now with faculty and staff, how will that data be used? Ensuring that it's not just saved somewhere and not used to understand what is the path forward to ensure a successful experience around distance learning and successful learning transfer for the students. Next slide. So in conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic did accelerate the use of distance learning, however, not the full adoption. Colleges and universities, it's important that they adopt a business mindset specifically around their customer. And their customer is not just the student, but their customers are also faculty and staff. And so ensuring that they feel supported and that they are getting what was promised as part of their commitment to be part of the university will be critical. And having multiple ways of experiencing education is important, as there is declining enrollment in higher education, and distance learning, it offers another way for students to participate. Those students being, in many cases, non-traditional students who may not see an advanced degree as possible, but with distance learning, they are more likely to engage. It also removes barriers for underrepresented demographics. Research shows that women and students of color are more likely to leverage online learning or distance learning more than any other demographic. And it also increases loyalty of faculty and staff so that they can be part of the solution in ensuring the success of distance learning. That completes my presentation today. I'd like to now hand it over to my colleague, Valeria.
Thanks, Jenene. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are at this moment. My name is Valeria Chavarria, and I have an associate's degree in pre-hospital emergencies, rescue, and disasters, known as EMT or paramedic. Easier. Currently, I'm studying a bachelor's degree in occupational therapy, both at Santa Paula University here in Costa Rica. Also, I am a Costa Rican Sync language student. So, next slide, please. My challenge for this panel is focused on my experience with virtuality, analyzing it from an occupational therapy perspective. What do I mean with that? OTs always look at our occupation and activities with other eyes, thinking about, if I have a disability or difficulty, will I be able to perform all functions effective and accessible? Based on this, I present you my challenge: provide relevant distance learning strategies to those with disabilities. Which disabilities? Visual, cognitive, reduced mobility, deaf people, neurodivergent people. These are just a few because there are a lot of disabilities. And as a recommendation to solve it, I propose an occupational therapy intervention process. This one has several processes in it. Mentioning some of them will be, in the next slide, please. Okay, assessment of the person to understand their strengths, skills, abilities, as well as their limitation, difficulties, or barriers. Evaluation of the available equipment to access the virtual environment. Also, evaluation of the context, which requires the use of virtuality, whatever for study, work, etc. Adaptations, making modifications to the available equipment, the programs the person uses, and the environment in which the person lives. Also, prescription of support products according to each person's needs. Accessible technologies, use these to support communications. For example, virtual and accessible keyboards with application that present on a screen keyboard for typing by case selection. Also, braille keyboard, dictation, subtitles, and transcripts in all language, not only English or Spanish. We have a lot of language. For people who are hearing impaired or deaf people, immersive readers facilitates reading comprehension for people with learning disabilities. Also, screen readers and text-to-speech technology that read website content allowed for people with visual impairments. Also, alternative text that provide text descriptions for pictures, allowing visually impaired people to understand all the visual content on the site. Color contrast that provides appropriate contrast between text and backgrounds make the site easier to read for people who are visual impaired or colorblind. Text site adjustments that allows users to increase or decrease the size of text so that everyone can adapt to their visual needs. Web pipe widgets that complement accessibility for all types of disabilities. Also, different types of mouse depending on the person needs, and others. There are a lot. Also, we have teaching and training necessary skills that the person doesn't have the knowledge and skills that are required for virtuality, or also retraining in these skills if the user knew how to perform them, but his current condition prevents him from performing them as he did before. For example, a person who suffers an amputation in his upper limbs and cannot type on the computer, but he knows how to type. But in this moment, he can't do it. Training the employees of the organizations. Training and awareness of the organization employees about the person disability, highlighting their abilities, as well as the methods and correct pedagogy for teaching and communicating with them. Creation of protocols, procedures for making classes, lecture, process, etc., accessible through the use of subtitles, writing, sign language, and others, whether or not there is a person with a disability within the organization. You will ask why? Because in this way, the material will always be accessible with positive benefits, such as when a person with a disability enters the organization, he, she, them will be able to receive all the information and perform in an effective and inclusive way from the beginning. And if adaptations should be made, they will be minimal and not such a scrap from a scrap. Likewise, any person outside the organization can access the information and communication if he or she, them, need it. In this next slide, I have a small video from Santa Paula University here in Costa Rica. If Raza could play it, please. It's from the international visit that make Mr. Milligan, Dr. Milligan, sorry. I don't know if it is playing. I think that not.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out how I can share the sound.
Oh, the
Okay,
sound is like a music, I think.
perfect. Okay.
Here in Santa Paula University, we have occupational therapy, of course, but we have physical therapy, respiratory therapy, audiologist, and emergency rescue. These are like the careers that the university offers to the students. We have a simulation building that has some many kids and virtual things, technology things for the students. And this is a little bit of my university. In the next slide, I have my contact information. I open to explain more in a deep how this process works or to clarify any other question you may have in the final space. Very thanks for your attention. And I will now hand over to my colleague, Tony, also from Costa Rica.
Well, I would like to say that's the first time I've seen that video, and I appreciate it. My visit was exceptional, and I know both universities, UNASA and Santa Paula University, are open for collaboration. So anyone who is attending this session, feel free to contact them. It would be a tremendous advantage for your university and students. Thank you very much. And Tony?
All right. Yeah. Thank you all, first of all, for being here. Thank you, Dr. Milligan, and everyone attending this panel. Well, first, my name is Antony Ramirez Montero. Well, I'm from Costa Rica as well. I'm the CEO and the founder of an aerospace startup here in Costa Rica. You know, this topic, aerospace field, it's kind of new in these developing regions. Well, I'm as well an adult astronaut. I trained in a habitat in Poland, and I was there for like 2 weeks training in a closed environment as an astronaut, doing different missions and different things in there. These opportunities are like hard to achieve from people in here. So yeah, I'm basically the first adult astronaut in Costa Rica from the ESA, which is the European Space Agency. I have as well another experience in avionics engineering. I work in a rocket company called Rocket Factory Augsburg in Germany. I was basically doing all the inside part of regarding the electricity and energy of this rocket. They are building the RFA-1 rocket. Like 1 month ago, they did a trial, and it was fun. It was fun. I'm an advanced student of electronics engineering at Universidad Central de Costa Rica. Well, I'm gonna talk a little bit about this university. And well, at the moment, I'm executive director of the semiconductor and aerospace manufacturing at CINDE. CINDE, it's an IPA, which is an investment promotion agency. So we basically are looking for companies and factories outside of Costa Rica related with semiconductors and aerospace, and we want to bring them here to put operations or projects in Costa Rica. So our job is basically to sell Costa Rica in the borders and show that we have the capabilities and different academia for having these new companies and new technologies in here. Yeah, that's basically my job at CINDE. I have an associate's degree in robotics and automation technology. I studied in Iowa, in Ottumwa, in the United States. And I'm as well a double technician in electronics, industrial electronics, and IT support. So that's basically my background. Next slide, please. Yeah, well, my challenge is actually the lack of aerospace field in the developing countries. And of course, this role of distance education, right? Here in Costa Rica or in these developing countries in Central America, we have some bias in the region related with space field. Most of the people think that you can't reach the aerospace field because it's too far. You need to have a lot of money, or you need to be like a genius or something like that. And it's not true. If you want to develop something related with space field, you can. You just need to look for the opportunities, and that's something that we want to build like this to close this gap and bring these people close to the aerospace field. We have that it's a future technology for us. We don't have any, at least in Costa Rica, we don't have any university or company developing at the moment like aerospace industry or aerospace technology. So it's something that we need to build. In Poland, the doctors that trained me as an astronaut, they said that we need this piece of the cake in Costa Rica as well, because it's a pretty good technology, and it's the future. So what's next? People with academia in the region. Yeah, we do have some universities that are developing pretty cool projects. We have two public universities, Universidad de Costa Rica and Tech. And we have a lot of engineering majors in different fields that we can actually develop things in aerospace. We don't need to be an aerospace engineer. We have like electronics engineers, mechanical engineers. So we have the people and the capabilities, of course, the infrastructure to build these industries in here. And well, in this field, in aerospace, if we want to build, for example, a rocket, we can't have this online education because it's, imagine, you can't develop something like this, you know. We are actually at the moment trying to looking for different programs and different, let's say, opportunities to connect with people in the outside to see which opportunities or ways to teach these kind of fields in here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my project. I have this project, the startup. We want to build different things. So next slide, please. So yeah, my startup is called Biomeca XTech. This is something I wanted to talk. Biomeca XTech, it's actually want to build a platform to teach and to be close to the people to teach aerospace field. At the end, we want to build, let's say, an astronaut training center. And we want to build like an academia for space sciences. So the project is pretty big, actually. It will be like 2 hours of explanation. So I'm going to be like pretty fast. Well, Biomeca XTech, at the moment, it's now trying to build the first analog astronaut training center here in Costa Rica. We now have this a place, a ground to start building this laboratory. So the idea is to have like this economical model to start looking for aspirants in the outside of Costa Rica and inside Costa Rica to train astronauts. And at the end, we want to build this academia and an environment to train astronauts using as well VR and augmented reality, using as well humanoid robots to make teleoperation, to make space exploration. So it's kind of hard to explain, but it's something like that. It's related with robotics, VR, and astronauts. So next slide. Okay, so we see two topics in here: space engineering. The VR could be used for training different areas. Aerospace field, as we saw before, we use VR for different things. Aerospace field is one of the fields that we can use for training astronauts or train people to teach how to, let's say, build and use different machines or different devices. And as well, mixed reality. All the development of the hardware and software devices provide this immersion. We hope to build 100% immersion to make the people feel as they are in space. So it's part of our project. Different areas that are benefited are the medical sciences, as we saw before, technical training for engineering, video games. That's another industry that we can be connected to, and the topography. You know, we can measure and build different things using these technologies. Okay, next. Okay, so the solution, as I said, well, we have lack of solutions to improve this and achieve more developed VR focus in astronautical training. We have little access to the aerospace industry in this region, and we have lack of technological resources and VR opportunities. According to one company that we have in Costa Rica, it's called Accenture, they said that we have a VR paradigm because we don't have the access of this technology here in Costa Rica. It's expensive for us, so we need to solve this issue of VR. So it's something that we are trying to solve as well. And well, the solution, I write solution twice, sorry. Development of hardware and software devices that provide immersion in virtual worlds. And it's actually the same as before. So next slide, please. All right. So these are the universities that we have, and that's the end of my presentation.
Tony, did you have some more to talk about? I mean, those are the only slides that you'd
I
uploaded.
actually did more slides. I don't know if it's not updated, but I did more.
It probably didn't update on the Google Drive. Yep.
Yeah, probably.
Do you want, what I can do is stop sharing screen and I can refresh it.
Oh yeah, that'll be
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Yes, I noticed one of my slides was not quite up to date either, so we're doing fine, doing the best we can with the technology we have and our time constraints. But I appreciate everyone being here, and the panel has been incredibly interesting. And I'm glad that we're recording this for future reference. Are we able to get back to the other slide, Roz?
Oh yeah, it's like the final
Yeah.
2 slides.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did everybody
advantages.
see it now?
Right. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, we can highlight these advantages in the region. Since we are in the central of the world, let's say, we have a good geography here to develop different trainings for astronauts. We can help with the procedures, you know, the political part of this country. It's kind of hard because we don't have any laws related with space field or laboratories. So developing this project, it's helping, and we are pioneering this field in here. So it's part of the advantage that we are seeing. It's future technology, as I said before. It's developing regional brand because we have people, and like I said, academia and the capabilities to build this industry. It's attractive, of course. Space is attractive, and when you see the night sky, it's your eyes are like shiny because it's the future, and it's pretty beautiful. It's new academia for us. It's a really good help for the economy. And we have this law, it's Chips and Science Act in the United States. They basically did a law like in 2022 related with chips, with the semiconductor industry. And all of this is related with technology as well. And it's for Costa Rica, it's another advantage that we have. And we can build more chips in here because Costa Rica is part of this law. We are going to help the states in the future building new chips. And of course, it's related with aerospace field. We need chips and electronics for space. Right. Next slide, please. Yeah, we had opportunities to be connected with international, let's say, scene. We presented this project in Paris in 2022 in the International Astronautical Congress. And well, we have links, networking with big players. I don't know, companies like SpaceX or space agencies like NASA. We've been in contact with them. We have the opportunities to have internships, scholarships, and invitations of different people, and the public exposure as well. We've been outside of Costa Rica presenting of our little project, and I don't know, it's pretty good. I feel pretty proud of the project. So next slide. I think it's the end. Yeah, and those are our social media. Biomechanics Tech is our project, and if you want to ask any questions or whatever you need, we are here. Those are the QR codes if you want to scan them. They are social media. We are posting different things, projects and volunteerings that we are doing at the moment. And yeah, that's actually my last slide. So thank you so much. Dr. Milligan, yeah, I think you're on mute.
Yeah. Thank you. We only have a few minutes left. I didn't want to stop anyone because it was all interesting and important. I don't know. This is the contact information for each of the universities. We have other contact information for individuals. And I don't know, do we have time for one question maybe?
Yeah,
Roz?
Dr. Milligan, I think we have like a couple of minutes left. What I'll read the questions that are in the chat.
Mhm.
And we'll go through that. And if we have a couple more minutes left, then we'll open it up to the audience. Okay, so
Yes.
the first question is from Katya to Alisson. Can you share more on the VR capabilities use? Hardware, for example, aka VR headsets, is a cost. Do students have access to hardware on campus, or do they also need it at home?
Okay, basically here at UNASA, we do not have the VR or AR. This is a proposed innovation. We would like to have it one day to make this possible, right? Basically, some uses of this VR is that nurses, in this case, will be able to perform a patient interaction training. For example, they will be able to do some procedures. Also, they will be able to attend a crisis or emergency training virtually. For example, if we will have to jump in an accident or treat a patient or treat a wound, we will be able to do it through the VR. Also, you can do the pain management and therapy. You can treat chronic pain, anxiety, or even rehab in patients. So this is a future, right? And it's not impossible. We would like to have it someday. I was discussing with one of the authorities here in the university last week about this. And like the question says, this has a cost. And here in El Salvador, we have so many needs, and I don't think every student will be able to access or buy the equipment for themselves. So an idea we were discussing with this doctor is that it will be, you know, a good idea for the university to buy, to say it like this, the equipment, and then as a student we can come to the faculty and, you know, use this technology. Or if you as a student would like to take it home, if you would like to take the classes, you can pay an insurance, like monthly insurance. So if something happens to the classes, if something happens, you know, to the program, you will have to respond for it. So that's a big challenge. Of course, it will take a lot of time, you know, to bring it here to UNASA, but it will be amazing.
Thank you, Alisson. I'll go to the next question that Katya had for me. Do you have a favorite AI tool for research and analysis that you could share? For example, is there a SPSS AI-based tutoring tool, or is it embedded in SPSS as feature like SPSS Copilot? There is no SPSS Copilot right now or AI supporting tool. I'm using ChatGPT just for more of the to ask questions on the uploading and how to input the data into SPSS per se, and the different type of analytical methods that I want to apply, you know, like an ANOVA, MANOVA type methods. I'm to answer all these questions at the same time. How do you ensure ChatGPT is giving you correct answers, type of test, etc.? I use a triangulation method. I have to triangulate based off of what whatever I put into AI, I'm gonna have to triangulate with the textbooks and, you know, with the professor methodologies. You can't trust it, even though it's a language learning model. It's not a statistical methods model like SPSS. But there is a, you know, SPSS and these tests have been around for years, so there is a lot of data for it to grab from. So I say about 98% of the time it'll give you pretty good input based off of, you know, researchers on the past. Let me see if there's any other. And there's a question for Shallon from Katya. I was very intrigued by your chatbot solution for personalized student support. For the version that you have, how long did it take to build it and feed the content? What does it take for your university to monitor and update it, and who in the university manages the process? Is it the IT or the content owners? Who knows the answers?
Thank you so much. Currently, we are designing version 2 of the prototype. Believe me, the version 1 was very, very horrible. It was guessing some things incredibly right. but others were incorrect. Yeah, they were so wrong. So what happens, we tried to design it from scratch. It wasn't having natural language understanding and response. So ChatGPT offers what they call APIs. So what we used is the API for ChatGPT. And ChatGPT, what it does, its API, it helps us to give the responses in a human nature format. So it is able to have this kind of understanding. The period of time we have developed this chatbot is roughly, I think, 2 years now, and it is still under trial. It is still under trial, but basically moving forward, we are trying to look at how we can train it with sophisticated data so that it improves its learning. So it hasn't been deployed officially, so it is still under trial version, but it is trying to do incredibly jobs right here. So thank you so much. I hope I've answered you.
Dr. Milligan, I'm going to pass it over to you. I think we've gone over time now by 1 minute.
Yes, I think the recording automatically stops. That's the downside. And we have a few minutes to transition between our session and the next, but yes. Sadly so. We'll have to address the remaining questions. Perhaps each of you can answer them and we can forward that information. Or we can get together on a Zoom session and answer the questions and then make that available. Well, we can discuss that in our WhatsApp group, see what to do. But each of you is welcome to contact the individuals and ask them your questions. And thank you very much for being here. I wish we had an hour and a half, as it turns out, but in the future, we'll have to book more time if we can do this again. So enjoy the conference, and we look forward to the remaining sessions.